Hello everybody. Today we will be making this cactus with 2 flowers on it. And what we'll need today is a mini flower pot like this one, some pillow stuffing, and some wool roving. Here we have pink, green, and brown. We will also need a foam mat to work on and some needle felting needles. I also love this tool, which has 7 needles on it. It's very useful and saves a lot of time. So to begin our project, we're going to start with the mini pot and stuff the pillow stuffing into it. And actually I have too much here, so I'm going to take some out. Once you have stuffed the pot, take your needle and start stabbing until you get a more circular form. Now make sure your fingers are away from your needle because it is very sharp. Now here I am poking in the sides to make it more uniform and smooth. Now if you want to save time, you can put 2 needles together, or as many as you can hold comfortably. And you want to continue to stab until everything is a little more uniform, but we will be adding in the brown color for the soil. At this point I noticed that my top was still too tall, so I used my tool here to flatten it more, and this really does save a lot of time compared to 1 or 2 needles. And I can use it a little bit to push in the sides, however I'm going to have to use my regular needles to put in the sides a little bit more so it's more round. Once I'm satisfied with this, I can take my brown roving, measure out a piece, and then you pull it apart, separate it a little bit so that it's not too thick, and then position it on your piece, and then we're going to stab it a little bit all over so that it'll stay in place. And then we want to push in the sides just like we have been doing, but for the brown this time. And then I keep hitting my pot with my needle. Try to avoid that because I think it's not that great for the needle. And then just stab all around so that it will get attached to the white part. Now we want to fill in the other side, so same thing, you want to take some brown roving, pull off a piece that is long enough, and then separate it a little bit and position it. Now I have too much, so I'm just going to tear away a little bit. And then you want to make sure that top part is overlapping so that you don't see any white part. And then just stab all over so it stays in place just like before. And then stab in the sides again so that it's nice and even all around. Once you are satisfied with how it looks, we'll set that aside so that we can do the cactus part. We are going to need our foam mat and some green roving and also some pillow stuffing. Now for this one we want to make a flat circular shape. So first we can ball up the pillow stuffing, and you can even fold it in half. And this is where I like this tool the best. It's great for starting off the project and making flat pieces. So every once in a while you do want to turn it over because it does attach to the foam underneath it. And then I'm just trying to flatten it while also pulling in the sides to make it into a circular shape. And this just takes a lot of stabbing until you get the right shape that you like. For the sides, it's much better to use the needles. But when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're not stabbing towards your fingers. I like to try stabbing downwards away from my fingers because you will stab yourself. You could wear finger protectors or just be very cautious of where you're stabbing. Now I am checking the size of my bottom shape and it's too big. So I'm going to take some of the stuffing off. And that's what's nice about needle felting is if you make a mistake or want to change something, you can just take some off or change it. And then I'll just continue stabbing it into a circular form until it's the shape I want. Now I have the shape and size that I want. So it's time to cover it with the green roving. So we'll take a small piece from here. And then we're going to separate it just like we did before. Now we're going to wrap it around the piece while stabbing in a little bit to hold it in place. And then for the corners, the needle is always best. And make sure to cover all the white areas. Once you like how it looks, then you're going to attach it to the pot. And what you're going to do is find areas to stab into the cactus part, down into the soil part. And you want to try to find different areas to poke into it. Because if you stay in the same spot for too long, it'll create a dimple that you don't want to be there. You are done when you get to a point where you can pull and it won't come apart. Now that we're done with the first part, we're going to make the smaller cactus part on the top. So I'm just estimating here how much stuffing I'm going to need. And again, I'm just going to make a circular flat piece, same as the bottom one, just smaller. Now I have finished the smaller piece and I'm going to cover it with the green roving just like I did the bottom piece. Now that I finished the smaller piece, I'm going to attach it to the bigger one. And this is the same way that you attach the big one to the soil. However, here you want to go slow to make sure that you don't stab your hand. Now we're going to make the flowers. So I'm going to take some pink roving. I'm going to split this in half, and I'm going to roll it up in order to make a little ball. It'll be very similar to the green pieces, except at the end we will be making the flower petals. So here I'm flattening it, and then I turn it every once in a while. You can fold it. Once you have a little pink circle, we're going to take a needle and make 5 indentations on the sides to make the 5 petals. So I lay it down on the mat like this, and then I stab repeatedly into the side in 5 different areas. When you are done making this one, you will want to make a second one as well, and this is how they look. And now we need to attach them to the cactus. So one I put in the top left corner, and to start with you can poke into the center. In order to keep the shape of the flower, I also poked in between the petals. I put the other flower on the bottom right corner, stabbed in the middle, and then also in between the petals. And that is the end of this tutorial. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. You can also follow me on Facebook or Instagram at Blue Saturn Designs. Thanks for watching.